Okay. So hi YouTube, hi Facebook. It's Imaya from Smart Fun Fam, and today I'm going to eulogize my dad. Today I celebrate my father, George Ivey. He died in April 2020 of pneumonia related to COVID at the age of 75. He was a proud Marine, a militant, a great martial artist, a great dancer, a brilliant storyteller, eccentric, proud to be Black. He had a beautiful singing voice. He had a lot of wisdom. He was a graduate of and an instructor at Outward Bound, which is a famous wilderness school. He was a graduate of the School of Hard Knocks, and he could survive in any environment. He left behind his beautiful wife, who he cared deeply for, and she cares deeply for him. And I thank God for her. Because of her, his last years were really, really, really good. They had a wonderful marriage that I could only that I aspire to someday. Um, so where was I? Okay. Sometimes I miss him. I wish that I could talk with him again. But the other day I felt something that I never felt before, that he's here. And not in a creepy kind of spiritual way, but every time I look in the mirror, I see him. Every time I look at my children, I see him. And I feel him inside me. He's here in my DNA and throughout every fiber of my being. And I really thank God for that. It's amazing that even though through sin, death entered the world, that God still blessed us, that through our children, we still have a kind of immortality. It's amazing that he and I had a complicated relationship, but I love him more than maybe he realized. And I think more than I realized, realized. I care for him even though he's gone. I would often talk to him about my faith in Jesus. He did not believe in Christianity and felt that my belief was naive. I truly believe Jesus when he said about himself, I am the way, the truth, and the life, and none come to the Father except through me. So I often wonder how he's doing right now. Part of me has resigned myself to the fact that he's not in a good place, and part of me still holds on to hope that maybe in his last hours and minutes he made peace with God. I can only imagine what was going through his mind when he realized he was dying. Although I'm told, thankfully, that it happened rather quickly. My dad loved my mother very deeply. He was crazy about her for the majority of his adult life. They met in the late 60s, early 70s. He was 25 and she was 15. He had a very troubled past. But he got himself a girl from the Hearst, which meant that he got himself a quality girl that would one day give him quality children. He said that she was his yellow Cadillac, and it looked as though there was a light shining within her body. One of my parents told me that when they met, she walked right up to him and said, "You turn me on." They were both very attractive people. My mother's dad had died a year before that. And what my mother said was most attractive to her about my father was that with him, she always felt safe. That she knew that no matter what situation, he would always protect her. And her own father also made her feel that way. I've written this down, so let me scroll down. Okay, so as far as I know, I am my father's only child. I'm so grateful that he got to spend some time with my two daughters and that he met my son not long before he died. He looked at Noah with tears in his eyes. He held him and he looked at me and he said, "You did good." My dad's mother came from a family of preachers. It was in the mid 40s, and it wasn't until she was pregnant that she found out that the man she was in love with was already married with children. My dad told me that back then it was not as common it is now for children not to have fathers, and brought him a great deal of shame. And from what he told me, um, that to her, he embodied that shame and that hurt that she felt. And so their relationship was quite complicated. But thankfully, her mother was a great comfort to him. And she taught him how to cook because she didn't want any woman to ever poison him. And he was an awesome cook. And I kind of wish I'd spent more time with him, and maybe I could have learned to be a much better cook than I am now.
I'm a good cook.
Sure. Okay. Let's see, where am I? Okay, he knew the name of the man that was his father, but he never tried to contact him, because so often in situations like that, the wife and her children can be quite cruel to this unwelcome family member. So COVID, for me and my family, like I think many families, has been a blessing. For instance, I've spent more time at home with my kids. I think oftentimes when people die, there's a pressure to come up with something clever or lovely to say about a person who was or wasn't lovely. And because he died of COVID, there couldn't be a funeral, so that pressure wasn't on me. I've had time to think about how I feel, and I'm sure I've got a lot more thinking to do about all this. My dad had hopes and dreams. He had things he wanted to accomplish in life. And I hope that God will bless me to someday attain the things that he wasn't able to on his behalf. And when I'm loving on my children, in some way, I think I'm loving on him because he's a part of them. And so in that way, some part of him is getting that motherly love that he really missed out on. He may soon be forgotten by the whole world, but I thank God that he continues to live in me. He continues to live in my children, and maybe he will in some way continue to live forever. And I thank God. And, so I hope this is just giving you some idea of who George Ivey is. He was a complicated man, and he was a beautiful man. And I thank God for him. And I thank God that I come from him. God bless you all.